When do you think we'll even see Xivu? Because you would imagine that the Witness is the main villain, and you would imagine that the Witness is the raid boss of Final Shape. But where would you imagine this big showdown with the God of War would be?
Oh, God. So I think that we can separate those a little bit, because I think the first time we see Xivu is not going to be the same as the time when we actually get that massive showdown, right? I think that we will actually see her properly first time in the flesh next season. Even as just like a projection, I think that's the point at which it's going to come along. Because inevitably, our next season is going to be resurrecting Savathun.
Yep.
I don't think that I don't think that her story ends there. I think that it's very clear that Xivu is a character with some longevity to her. They're building her very heavily at the moment, which means that a reveal is probably very close. I have to presume that it comes along at some point, either during or after Savathun's return. But Xivu Arath getting revealed soon, I think, would make sense. It ups the stakes, and it makes for a very compelling seasonal plot hook, too. If it is that, though, I don't think we see the massive climactic showdown of Xivu at some point during that season alone. I think that you have that spanning out further across. And even if it does turn out to be the case that Savathun turns Xivu away from the Witness, I still hold this idea that she's not necessarily going to be our friend, you know? Like, her hive brood might abandon the Witness, and it might be the biggest upheaval in the system ever since. There might still be some hive that technically hold loyalties to the worm gods, and we could see a new realm of, like, ascendants that get buffed up to kind of take the place of the original Osmium trio. But even so, when you actually look at Xivu as a character, she has narrative legs, so to speak. She's got a long way to walk before she gets to anywhere conclusive. Like, we had 5 years of build-up with Savathun, and then we got Witch Queen, and now Savathun is back in the story again. Like, Bungie's not just going to take... Yeah, Bungie's not going to make Xivu a single seasonal villain that just dies at the end of a season as Savathun does her thing and tells us how to get through the portal. That's not... I'd bet my entire career on it, practically, and God, I hope those words don't come back bite me, because please, Bungie, don't do that. But yeah, if that is the case, Xivu will inevitably have her own path to carve, and I still think that there's a potential for her being an enemy in the future, because she still took over Torobatl and still beat back the Cabal, and there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of beef with her, you know, like, there are many reasons that we should still be fighting Xivu, even if she ultimately withdraws her forces from the Witness, you know? I mean, even down on the base level of, like, take a look at the Elixni and their conflict, you know? The Elixni have seen the House of Salvation turned to mindless Wrathborn. They are in that point where they are seeing their own ranks corrupted and hollowed out like tools for the Witness's purpose. That's an entire Aramis versus Xivu Arath plotline that we haven't seen yet. That I would love to see, and it's just not quite there, right? That, you know, there are some wild cards going on without this entire story even being considered, and honestly, we need to just wait and see what unfolds, but Xivu's story is not done. I would stake my bet on it, that even if we do see a reveal of her next season, we're not going to see the last of her story for a very long time.
I would hope so. But yeah, I mean, even Savathun coming back isn't a surprise to most of us. They did set that up pretty perfectly with her body still being there, and then Amaru disappeared. So we would imagine the next steps are to go find Amaru, get Savathun resurrected, and then... But a Bungie narrative lead did say that she's not going to be a huge part of it, or it's not going to revolve around her. They said that she's going to make an appearance, but it's not going to be like, you know, Return of the Witch Queen is going to steal the thunder. It's still very much about, obviously, Xivu and the Witness, but Savathun will be a part, but they said not like a huge part. Don't expect her to be another main character. So we're going to just use her to, I guess, get to the portal, and then that'll be Savathun's role, it appears like. And then besides that, we had, obviously, the revelations of the Witness, which was a pretty big deal. Again, it was definitely Bungie's goal to slowly drip feed that narrative out through the season. But again, we would probably, I think most people would agree, it would have been better done in Lightfall. But we've said that about 17 times already.